Here on DBS television with me, Timothy Polion. We go up until 10 o'clock, at which time we'll be concluding with the clip that peaked. In a moment, my special guest. But first, healthcare is something that is very dear to all of us in St. Lucia. And one of the health issues that many people are grappling with right now and suffering with right now would be diabetes. And we have even heard of studies that are suggesting that St. Lucia has the highest rate of diabetes in the world. This is being disputed by many of our health practitioners on the island. And also, just recently, the island's minister with responsibility for health did ask, where is the proof? So we have a report from DBS's Don Nicholas. That report was aired on Friday during the DBS News World, and we hope that we'll be able to play that report right now because that is one of the issues that is in dispute. That is one of the issues that is being queried. But over the last decade, that is what we continue to hear in the media, in particular, that St. Lucia has the highest rate of diabetes. We're discussing this issue among other matters relating to diabetes. First, we have this report from Don Nicholas.
Some doctors here have taken issue with a study which indicates that St. Lucia is #1 in the world for diabetes, saying that the rating is incorrect. Health Minister Mary Isaac has responded to the criticism. She says it's not enough to refute the findings. She called on the medical practitioners to come up with the evidence to suggest otherwise.
We have to go by what the statistics say. We have to find the source of that information, and we cannot just dispute it because we feel it is not true. We have to come with information that show that that is not the case, and that's what these doctors have to do.
Having said that, as far as the health minister is concerned, one thing is certain, and that is diabetes is on the increase in St. Lucia, and this trend has to be reversed.
What I can say is we have a very high prevalence of diabetes in St. Lucia, and it has reached critical stage, and we as a country must do something about it.
Isaac was attending a function that saw the launch of Diabetes Awareness Month. For the DBS News World, I'm Don Nicholas.
On for this report, which was filed last Friday during the DBS News World. As you heard Don report that we are into Diabetes Awareness Month, and the theme for that observance is Women and Diabetes, Our Right to a Healthy Future. My guest this evening is Dr. Aaron Ajuda, and he's representing the St. Lucia Diabetes and Hypertension Association. Welcome to the broadcast, sir.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, what is diabetes?
Diabetes is a very complex condition, very chronic, and it was very interesting to actually look up the definition of the word diabetes. I realized it's from the Greek, which actually means siphon, meaning that sugar is seeping into the urine. And I remember growing up, my dad is a diabetic, and I remember growing up watching him, and I noticed that there were ants actually on the ground. And then he said to me at that time that he was diabetic, and that sugar actually in his urine. So that is basically where the word comes from. And diabetes mellitus actually means sugar, honey, signifying basically an increase in the amount of sugar in your blood. So diabetes basically is a condition which is chronic, where we have an elevated amount of sugar in our bloodstream, and there needs to be a balance. And so you heard about the pancreas producing something called insulin, and insulin is something which helps the body utilize that sugar. Okay, insulin allows the sugar to leave the bloodstream and enter into our cells. Our cells these are the basic units of our bodies. Our cells forms our skin, our organs, and based on the function of the cell, we do different things as human beings. They need energy. These cells need energy, and so glucose is what is used as a form of energy, and insulin is what is used to get that sugar into the blood cells. Therefore, if we have a situation where there's no insulin, for example, in type 1 diabetes, then obviously sugar is not able to enter the cells, and that would cause diabetes. It will bring about a problem with the sugar and metabolism. There's also the situation where you may have insulin, but the insulin is not sufficient. So there is not enough sugar going into the cells.
But in this particular case, why the body cannot engage in some kind of self-regulation?
Well, the body tries, but there are times when, due to many other reasons which we'll maybe look at a little later, the body is not able to do it because of the fact that there is a problem at the level of the pancreas. Now, there are autoimmune conditions. There are conditions where your body destroys the production or the cells producing insulin. Okay, there are conditions where the amount of insulin is available, but your body cannot process the sugar. The insulin can be viewed as a key. If you have a door, and to be able to enter, you need a key to unlock that door. So the very same thing is insulin. If insulin is at your door, but it doesn't fit the lock, even if insulin is available, then the sugar will not be able to enter into the cell because the fact that insulin is not able to use, or there may be problems with the receptors. The receptors are things that you find on the cells that help the body react to insulin, and that helps the sugar to enter into the cell. So that is what we call insulin resistance. And we find it a lot in type 2 diabetes, and we also find in persons who are very obese. And that is one of the reasons why we are finding that a lot of young persons are diabetic, okay, because of the increasing number of cases of obesity. And that is, in effect, causing us to build some resistance to insulin. The body cannot utilize it as it should because of this.
You heard this report by DBS's Don Nicholas, and what is in dispute, particularly of late, is whether St. Lucia has the highest rate of diabetes in the world. And the health minister is saying, show me the evidence. But we're understanding that over a decade ago, a study was conducted, and the person who conducted that study came out with that particular reality as far as he is concerned. What say you to that?
Okay, I am not privy to the entire study in terms of what was done, how it was done, etc. But there was a study conducted by Michael Gravel, I think it's 2008, which reported that there was an incidence of 8.1% of diabetes. Now, to be able to deduce from that we have the highest rate of diabetes, I am not able to do that. I think one has to be able to look at, in any study, the population that you use, the biases associated, what patients that you select, in what area of the country that was happened. Are there any confounding biases or any other issues that may be contributing to diabetes that were not studied or investigated? There are a lot of issues that that you or one has to do to appraise a research, to know exactly, to conclude that that is the situation, that is the case. And I'm unable to say that, but I can confirm that there was a report which actually showed that the incidence of diabetes was about 8.1%.
In your experience, from your vantage point, how serious you think is the problem in St. Lucia?
It is a growing problem, and it's something that we have to be extremely concerned about. And statistically, it's sometimes very hard to get data, but in St. Lucia, I was able to get some information from the World Health Organization in terms of St. Lucia profile, and it shows that the incidence of diabetes, or the prevalence of diabetes, actually has been increasing from the the year 1990 up until 2014, it maintains an increase